So I wanted to honestly make a video because I think I'm just trying to work through some thoughts, some feelings, some emotions that I have, and maybe I'll just end up deleting this, but who knows? Maybe it'll come to something as well. So I'm at the airport, and yesterday I got word that my flight was delayed from 12:45 to 3:45. And so then I had to redo all of my transportation that I had set up and okay, whatever. But already I was starting to feel the anxiety starting to come up. Like, what am I doing here? I kept tamping it down, like, it's okay. You're connected to that feeling of you know what you want. And you want this. But then I get to the airport and actually no, lies. I woke up and it went from when I checked the flight things, it went from 3:45 back to 12:45. And I was like, so I was just like, you know what? It is what it is. It was such a cool feeling of just like, what's gonna happen is gonna happen. So I go to the airport, show up. It wouldn't let me check in on my phone, and I go and I check in, and they're like, no, it's 3:45. And I'm like, shit. Now I got like 5 hours to kill. So I don't know. I was kind of like toying with the idea: do I get back on the subway? Do I go out into the city, hang out? And I was like, you know what? No, I think I'm supposed to sit here and sit with this boredom, because it's always something I try to avoid. It's being bored. And today I actually purposefully left a lot of electronics on. Normally I'd bring my laptop and all these other things to distract myself, and I just have my phone and 2 books. And I get here, all that happens, and I was just like, okay, I wasn't gonna go through security yet. I was gonna just sit it out, see if I was gonna go out into the city, but I was still like, I'm going. But all the while, there is just this little inkling of, I'll call it fear and anxiety, that I've been tamping down with this strong facade that I have. This confident facade, even though on the inside I'm feeling like, what's going on here? So then, once again, didn't go through security. I'm in the terminal where all of the flight front desks are, where you go to check in. And I was walking over to get a bottle of water at one of those little kiosk things, and I started hearing screaming. And I'm like, oh, maybe it's kids playing or something like that. And it was coming from the same line that I just left. For my airline, not my airline, I don't know, but like the one I'm going to be partaking in. Screaming, yelling, and I was waiting for it to die down, and no, it never did. And so I just walked out of the store, walked over to where my airline is, and it's this lady that is having a complete meltdown, and I'm assuming, I was going to say Egyptian, but I have no idea. She was wearing I don't actually know what you call that. I should look that up. But she was, you couldn't see her face or anything like that, except for when she would pull it up and just start spitting at people. And I might have that right. I don't know. I should look that up. But yeah, and her family was trying to calm her down, and every time she would remove the front part, the face part, she looked like a very young girl. Like, I'm not saying like teens, she looks like maybe late 20s or something like that. And the family kept trying to calm her down, and all the police come running over, and ICE comes running over, and security and all this stuff, and I was just like starting to freak out. I was starting to realize how much fear and insecurity I have about this trip that I've just kind of tamped down with the realization of like, this is the way, you know, this when I connect to myself, like I'm supposed to be going here. But there's still so much, and I've talked about this in previous episodes, but I may not have ever posted them, so this might be the first time you're hearing it, but it's that sentiment of there's a lot of reasons why we don't do things, and fear is a big one. Fear and uncertainty. And I have a lot in there. There's so much in there. And it keeps you rooted, and it keeps you stationary. And I can see why. Because after all of this went down, and she was still fighting everybody and her family, and they were trying to get her outside, and she was not having it. I just went into the bathroom and I just started crying. Because of all the fear that was just bubbling up, all the fear and insecurity. Because I kept thinking to myself, what am I doing? Why am I going here? Why am I, you know nothing? You know nothing. You've never, I mean, yes, I've been to Mexico, but Mexico now feels like old hat, you know, and maybe one day Egypt will, but I'm just like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? It's actually funny because the same sentiment, I just thought of this now, the same sentiment came up with ayahuasca, when I did ayahuasca. I was laying there having my experience, and then at some point, I think it was with ego death, I just came to, and I grabbed the ground, and I just started hyperventilating, and I was just like looking at my hands, like saying, I need something that feels real right now. I need something to ground me. And I was so panicked. And as I was laying there, just like focusing on my hands and breathing, I just kept thinking, what am I doing? Why am I in Mexico? Why am I doing ayahuasca? Why do I do this to myself? Why? Why am I forcing myself to do these things? And it was scary at that time. And today, even though like I wasn't in direct danger, but all of my fears and insecurities about this trip, about, I'll call it my cultural ignorance, or maybe not even ignorance, it's just that when you grow up in a rural area, you don't know what you don't know, except for the fears and uncertainties that have been passed down from generation to generation. You know, it's, I don't know, but they all started bubbling up because there's only so much, I think, that I don't want to say can tolerate, that I understand. And you know what, to some degree I was like this down in Mexico too. You know, that I felt so like deeply insecure and maybe not unsafe, but scared because of being out of my element, being in a culture that I don't understand, being in a language I don't understand. You know, the again, cultural naivety, being naivety, it's like, has taught me to fear things that I don't understand or don't know or haven't experienced yet, including going to other places. And so I think Mexico was a pretty big hurdle for me, but now going to Egypt, going to the Middle East is proving me again that there's still a deep root of fear because of something I haven't experienced firsthand. You know, it's everybody else's fear around me, you know, between society, between social media, news, family, and none of them are wrong. You know, maybe they all have their own informed experiences as to what makes X place or this situation, that situation unsafe. And their traumas have informed them to make these predictions, choices, understandings, beliefs. We'll go with beliefs. That one feels better. And I don't know. So with all of that, it's like, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do, because I think I have like 2 hours until I board. And, TSA, yeah, probably would take me an hour. And I don't know, because I'm still very deeply unsettled. So it's like there is no right or wrong answer. There really isn't. Part of me is thinking maybe it's, like you learned the lessons that maybe you were supposed to. You excavated some of the fear that's there. You pulled it out. Maybe you didn't get the whole root, but you got a good portion of it. And you don't have to like strong arm your way through this. But I don't know, like I said, when I'm in a clearer state of mind, it's like I can feel that this was something that I wanted, like I needed to be there. And I know everything happened today for a reason. The reason why maybe my flight was delayed was so that I can experience what just happened down there. And so that it would, like I couldn't hold it together. It's like a can of soda that was shaken. Damn past tense. Shaken too much. And shook too much. And but it's like that you just, at some point you can't contain it and it's going to erupt. And thank God that I have a couple of people that I could just call and vent, because I wanted to talk to my family, and I know a lot of my family would have just said, like, just come home. And although I know that's true, and there's a big part of me that just wants to go, all right, we tried. There's another part of me that's like, I want somebody to help me through it. I want somebody to not talk me down, but just kind of be like, just to hold space, essentially. That this was tough, this is scary, this is all those things. And I don't know. So I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what I'm even going to do. Like I said, I'm soon to make a move. Whether I'm going to maybe go see if I can get a voucher and try again at another time. Cancel my, maybe try tomorrow. I don't know. It's a lot of hassle to get back up here. So to try again tomorrow, but on the other hand, it's just like, I just feel so deeply unsettled right now. It's hard, I think, to find grounding, one, in an airport, but two, definitely in an environment that already makes you feel nervous to begin with. It reminds me of Mexico when, I feel like I've done so much growth since I got home, because you're back to your roots, back where maybe part of you feels safe enough to just finally relax. And I think there's just kind of like this low level hum of tension right now, and it's trying to find grounding while you're still like this, trying to make an open-hearted decision from a place of tension and fear in some ways. So I don't have an answer. I just wanted to maybe make this video, see how I feel about posting it, and go from there, because I feel like since restarting the channel, I talk a lot about fear and excavating it and going after it, finding where you feel uncomfortable, pushing through the boundaries. And I know, I've experienced it multiple times, usually on substance, but it's like, I know what it's like to be at the wall of fear and just feel completely helpless. And right now, I don't know, I'm stuck in a tough place right now. 14:44 on my clock. Love it. But I'm stuck in a hard place right now, because part of me is just like, I don't want to be that parent, if you will, that gives myself tough love of like, this is good for you. And like, I want to come to this trip from a place of calm and a place of like excitement, a place of love, knowing that it's not going to be exactly the easiest thing, but like from a place of excitement, not a place of fear, not a place of like bracing for more, I don't know, uncomfortableness. So, like I said, I wanted to make this kind of talk through some thoughts, and also to show you, like, it's real. Like, you should have seen me half an hour ago. I was crying. And, this is where the growth happens. I'm not saying I'm going to force myself to get on a plane just because this is where the growth happens. But there's growth either way, how I see it. I can get on the plane and pull out more fear because I can feel it. There's a root still left in there that wants to come out. But I think there's a part of me that's still bracing for like, please don't let anything else happen. And there's growth on the other way. If I walk away from this, it's like, you did something amazing. One, you listened to yourself and just said, you know what? We need to chill. We need a day. We need a month. We need 10 years. You didn't force yourself to do something that typically you would have. I talked to my cousin today about this. And she's like, you can push through it. And I'm like, yeah, of course I do. I used to be a marathoner. I used to be a triathlete. And it's like, I know I can push through. I have that mentality of just like, I gave myself a DVT in my, clot in my left leg. I know I can push through. I don't know if I need more practice with that. But on the other hand, I know there is this opportunity to grow in such a beautiful way. But just thinking about it, there's just like a knot, and I don't know if I'm ready to really full-heartedly express that knot. I can cry again. I'm going to actually. So, my hair's poofy. Alright. I just want you guys to see the pain is real. This fear is real. I know it's there. I have the choice to still push through it, and who knows what's going to be on the other side of this uncomfortableness. Who knows how long the uncomfortableness goes on for. Because if I'm being honest, Mexico, I was there 8 months, and there was just a low level of, like, I always explain it like, if you're in your comfort zone, it's just like I was just an inch, one step outside of my comfort zone for 8 months, essentially. Like, you get there, you tense up, and you'll relax a little bit, but you still don't know. You still don't know if you could trust it. And it's like, I want to go and I want to experience something beautiful, and I want to release what it is that holds me back. On the other hand, I don't know if I want to force myself to do it. I just want it to kind of, look at that. So, either way, I'm going to sit with this a little longer, really try to find myself in my center, really try to connect in with that feeling. This, like, to create that cord to your actual wants and desires, and connect to that, and realize that everything else is just going to fizzle away. And if I can somehow ground here in an airport in order to find that, then maybe I'll still go. But if not, it's not a failed attempt. It's actually growth too. So it's a win-win. We always win. Yay us. All right, team. I'm gonna go ground a little bit, but thank you so much for listening, and know that we're all in it together, and that, yeah, it's real. It's real. The beauty is real, but so is the things that have kept us from it. And so it's holding space for both. All right, I'm gonna ground because